All right, everybody. Welcome to today's daily sketch grind. Glad you're all here this morning to get better drawing, work on your craft, improve. So just a few things for those of you that might be new. Sketch grind, we sketch every day, 10 o'clock in the morning, Mountain Standard Time. We're going to sketch, draw together. Every other day, we have a prompt. And on the alternating days, we draw from reference in order to do more studies and stuff and increase our visual library, mental library of reference. And so today we're doing reference. You can do whatever you want. And there is a Facebook group called the Daily Sketch Grind where you can post your work and your improvements and get feedback and share with other people. Do make sure that if you're posting in the Facebook group, that you are keeping it limited to sketches, no paintings or colored renderings or things like that. All that stuff is great and fine, but the purpose of Sketch Grind is to focus on our drawing skills and habits and to improve those. And so we want to try and what's the word? Curate. We want to curate the page towards sketching and drawing. So no paintings. But yeah, glad you're here. Glad to join us. You can also post your work on Instagram with hashtag SketchGrind for a chance to be featured on the SketchGrind Instagram page. And tell your friends, have them come sketch and draw with us. So let's start as usual. I guess I'll talk a little bit before we jump right into the warm-up. But today I am going to be doing, my reference is going to be, I'm going to be drawing tigers. So these are my reference photos. We'll see if I get to all of them or not, but these are the photos I found on Pinterest to use as reference studies. So that's what I'll be doing today. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. What are you going to be painting? So setting a timer here. We got 5 minutes. Warm up. Let's begin.
Now, Austin, I'm curious, is warming up something you've done for a long time, or is it kind of a new thing that you started doing? Because, I mean, for me, I never done the warm-ups, but I really like the idea of warming up and just kind of loosening up and just drawing whatever for a minute before you get into drawing something that you have planned.
Honestly, it's not something that I would often do intentionally, but it would almost always happen that like before I actually went with the drawing or painting that I was going to keep for my rough sketch, that I would almost, like, if you were to watch like the time lapse of most of my art, it always starts out with like me sitting down doing something like this. It's not that I was intentionally like, I'm going to sit down and do a warm up first before I start drawing. It just was kind of like felt natural that I would just kind of like mess around, explore a little bit, and then once I felt like I knew what I wanted to do, then I would start seriously drawing or drawing with a purpose, I guess you could say. But there are times when I'm intentional about it, like right now. Especially since the point of sketch grind is to get better at drawing, and it's not just like doodling or I'm not just like teaching a quick tutorial on something. I have like a focused goal, and so warming up helps a lot.
Cool.
Also, I introduced him a little while ago, but for those of you who maybe missed it or are new, um, this is Caleb. He is Caleb Saran. He's with me, helping me read questions. He's reading questions off and kind of just assisting me in moderating the chat. So, um, if you have like a technical question or something about sketch grind, just a general question, or if you're wondering what the prompt is for the day, well, you can always check that in the description of the video. But you can send Caleb a message in the chat, and he'll be able to help you answer your question. You can, I mean, you can still obviously direct questions at me, but if it's just something quick and simple, he'll be able to help you out.
Sophia's asking, what brush are you using?
I'm using the technical pencil with the max size increased. It's Mike Henry, who's another YouTuber. You can check out his channel. He has a whole video. He calls it the fat pencil. It's basically that same brush. If you watch his video, he has a whole tutorial on exactly how he makes it.
So Mike Henry fat pencil.
Yep.
Right.
All right. That's warm-up time over. Let's get into our reference today. So I'll just go ahead and turn that layer off. And I had to start with this one because it just looks so awesome. I think it would make for a great drawing. Little tiger in a cardboard box. So, and my back is killing today. All right. Okay. We got any questions today? Besides what brush?
So you said that you're using the technical pencil at max size.
With the max size increased,
The max size increased.
I'm not 100% sure what the exact settings are off the top of my head. I don't really want to take the time in the middle of this just to go through all the brush settings when there's already a video out there for it. So, yeah, just go check out Mike Henry's video. I'll show you. He goes step by step exactly how to create it if that's the brush you want to try using. But like I typically say, it's not so much in the brush as it is in the artist. I mean, brushes can help, I suppose, achieve certain effects, but it's not what's going to make your art good. Sometimes I wonder, like, for example, this really simple outline shape, how close I am to the actual. I'm just going to duplicate it so it gets pretty dark here for a second so I can see. I want to tell how close I am to the actual shape. Pretty close. Not bad. Anyways, just indulging for a moment.
Karma121983 is asking at the end, will you go over the specifics of what you hope to take away from this study?
Sure. Yeah, if you guys, I did that last time. If you guys found that valuable, I'd love to. I don't mind doing that every time. I don't want you guys, if you guys don't think that's interesting or useful, then I won't do it. But if you guys enjoy that and think you get some good information from it, I'm more than willing to do that at the end.
Sophia added, definitely useful. I'd love to know your thoughts on the exercise, what to take away from it. So yeah, it seems like people are interested in that.
Okay. I mean, just to clarify, I can tell you what I took away from it, but that's not necessarily what you should take away from it. Or, I mean, I don't want you to think that when I do a reference, this is what you should be learning from it per se. But I can share what I learned from it and what things I found useful. But you might find different things useful, or just to be clear. Oh, also, Caleb, will you let me know when we're at the 30-minute mark?
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. So I think it was really cool that you were able to take your initial sketch of just the top part of the box that you did, and then you wanted to see how close you were, so you just put that drawing layer on top of the photo to kind of see how close you were.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool that you were able to see that you were really close,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I think that's it. It just tells me that with practice, you really can train your eye to be able to see things really well and to evaluate proportions and angles and things really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for people, if they get frustrated with it, it really is just a matter of practice and training your
Yeah.
eye.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel not super. I mean, I don't feel as rusty as I did a week ago when we started doing this, but I could still feel like there's a lot of room for improvement in like gauging accuracy and speed, probably as well, you know. But it is still it's still pretty crazy. I mean, not just me, I'm not I'm not just being like, "Wow, Austin, you're just so damn amazing." But, just that humans in general are capable of that, like, that's something the human brain can accomplish. But, yeah, I bet you that there's artists out there who could get it exact, you know, like, pretty essentially perfect proportions. I wouldn't be surprised. Almost basically make it look like they traced it. So what's everyone working on?
George French is working on a T-Rex.
Nice.
Sophia's working on a chickadee bird.
Nice. I have done a lot of studies on chickadees actually. They're kind
I
of
don't even
fun
know
to,
what a chickadee is. I'm gonna look that up.
they're just like a small little songbird.
Oh yeah, cool.
They're just fun to draw. They're so fluffy and they can stretch out and they can get really small and fluffy, or I don't know, they're just kind of fun, I think.
My star, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, is doing an owl.
Cool. What kind of owl? Great horned owl, snowy owl. Any any owl in particular? I used to have a. I'll probably get another one this year, but I used to have about a year or two ago, like a year pass to the Hogle Zoo by where I live. It's a pretty good zoo. It's it's up there in one of the best ones in the country. I think it's rated in the top 10 or something like that. It's a pretty cool zoo. But yeah, I used to have a year pass so I could go for free as often as I wanted. Take my sketchbook and go try and draw animals. It's a little difficult though when they just feel like moving around.
Or they're hidden in a corner sleeping somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's cool being able to draw from life. And what do you feel like are the differences there, like drawing from life? Do you feel like it's valuable?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff you don't pick up on in photos that you just don't realize that you can see when you're a lot closer up. And also, even though they're moving, same with like life drawings, like if you did figure drawings, the model, even though they're trying to stay still for you, they still move a little bit. Um, but it's uh, the thing that I think is valuable, if I can try and put it into words, I don't know if I'll be able to explain what I'm trying to say very well. It's like you can get more of like a sense of like the essence of the subject, so to speak, like the way it moves and what it looks like from different angles. And even though you're trying to draw it from one angle, all that stuff kind of ends up influencing your drawing and it helps it feel more dynamic and lifelike instead of just like a photograph because you're taking into account a lot more information than just like the 2D pixels on a screen. You're taking a lot like, how it carries itself, like what attitude it's evoking, like that sort of stuff that kind of seeps into the drawing, I think. So yeah, I think it can help. I don't know. I haven't done it like a ton. I do way more from photos than I do from life. Um, And I'm not saying that's like the right way to go or anything like that, but I do know that there's other artists who are a lot better than me who claim that doing from life is like a must, that that's how you're really going to get good. So must be important, I guess. I don't know.
Awesome. Comical Foods is doodling creature heads.
Cool.
That's cool. And then Karma121983 is saying, have you ever heard of the board game Wingspan? It was recently announced and is coming out in a couple months, and it has beautiful bird art.
I have not, but that sounds cool. I'll have to check it out. I love board games. Does it have is it like card game or you got miniatures? Oh, it kind of looks like looking at a picture of it, kind of looks like Audubon Society style art. Looks kind of cool. Kind of reminds me of Evolution, that game. If you ever played that, that's what it's reminiscent of, I think. Yeah, I'm down to try pretty much any game, but what I really like are miniature games where you get to put stuff on the board. There's a game that's coming out on Kickstarter in like um I don't know exactly when. I don't know if they announced the exact date, but it's supposed to be in the first quarter of 2019, so probably by like March, between now and March. Engine building card game. Oh, cool. Yeah, I like that. That stuff is fun. Like Legendary is kind of like that. But anyways, there's a game called coming out called Trudvang Legends, I think, or I don't know how you pronounce it. It's like a Norse word, I believe, um, by Simon. But man, the art for it is so cool. It's by oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking his name. Carl, I think it's Carl Kopinski. I think it might be. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. It might be a different artist, but either way, I can't remember. I'll find out sometime, and I don't know when it gets closer to coming out. But yeah, art looks really cool. The game looks really cool, and it's got really awesome sculpts for the miniatures. They just look fantastic.
So I'm curious, do you have a is there a reason why you started with the body first and then going to the head? Is that a typical thing? Is there really like a method to that? Like, do you is that a typical thing for you, or you just kind of start with whatever you feel like and then just go from there? Does that make sense? Like,
hmm Um, I just started with what I thought was going to be easiest to get the proportions accurate on. The more, because then when I draw the rest of it and I'm trying to look at the picture and be like, okay, well, this is this big compared to this, or this is this far away from this point comparative. If I can start with the most accurate part first, or what I think would be the easiest part to get accurate, and then base the rest of my visual measurements off of that, then I just feel like it'll be easier for me to get close to the drawing, to the image. So that's why I started with the box, because that was the biggest, simplest shape with clear edges and stuff, easily defined. Then the body, and then the head, which was seemed like it would be the most complicated, so that I could compare it to the rest of the image.
I think sometimes people go for the most complicated things first. I mean, this could totally just be my own mindset, but when I started off, I would usually start with the face. And since I really enjoyed drawing faces, I would spend a lot of time on that. And then everything else just kind of fell by the wayside because after I did the face, I was like, well, I wasted, or spent all my energy on
Mhm.
this face. And then all of the other details didn't look as good. And that always frustrated me.
Yeah. It's, it's tempting to do, I guess, like, the fun part first or the part that yields the biggest reward the fastest, right? Like, if I had started with just the head and started doing the stripes, very quickly it would look like a tiger, and it would be like, "Dude, that's so cool," you know? "This is really exciting, I'm drawing a tiger, like, I like how it's turning out." But then, yeah, the rest of it, I don't know if it's accurate, I don't there's all it can have all these problems. Um, so, yeah, I think, keep it loose as long as possible, get the whole entire structure first, and then start working into the more detailed, more complicated parts. Whoops. I've never done this before where I check my proportions, but I thought it was kind of interesting, so I keep wanting to try it. But it looks like I'm not as accurate with the rest of it as I was with the first part, but not too bad. Yeah, interesting. All right.
All right, so we're at 10:30.
Oh man, already. Okay. Well, we better get going here. You guys seem pretty quiet today. Not a lot of comments, questions. We also we don't have to talk about art. I'm pretty into philosophy. Really like a lot of movies, Star Wars stuff. Pretty big Spider-Man fan. Can chat it up about whatever you guys want.
What music do you listen to while you draw?
I don't really listen to music while I draw. I mostly listen to podcasts and YouTube videos, honestly, or audiobooks. If I do listen to music, um, yeah, it's a pretty wide range, actually. Like, a lot of people like to say, like, "I like all music," but then you're like, "Do you like jazz?" And they're like, "Well, no." "Do you like classical music?" "Not particularly." "Do you like ska?" "No." "Do you like rap?" "No." Well, whatever, but really the only thing that I don't listen to a ton of is, like, heavy screamo. Um, I don't got anything against it, it just doesn't do it for me. But, yeah, I'll listen to just whatever I feel like, honestly, but I really like kind of like, my favorite channel that I listen to most often when I'm listening to music would probably be a toss-up. This is gonna sound weird because 'cause they're completely different ends of the spectrum, but it'd probably be a toss-up between John Denver station and, like, with songs like Fleetwood Mac songs and stuff like that, and Macklemore. But, yeah, I really like Macklemore's latest album, Gemini. I'm not, like, a huge collector, but I, I have a record player, and I collect a little bit of vinyl, and, yeah, his Gemini album is one of my favorites, I think. I really like it, especially the last song on the album called Excavate. That song is so good. Hits me. I'll listen to that like 5 times in a row just in my car and just think about it. It's a good one. But yeah, mostly I listen to podcasts when I draw and stuff like that.
What are your favorite, or I'm sorry, who are your favorite creature designers?
Um, Terrell Whitlatch.
Ter- I'm gonna write these in the comments so they can
Yeah.
refer to them later. So it's Terrell.
Yeah, Terrell Whitlatch, Terryl, and then Whitlatch, Whitlatch, I think.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Um, she's fantastic. She did a lot of the work for. She did work. I'm pretty sure she worked. Yeah, she worked on Star Wars. She did design Jar Jar Binks, but I don't hold that against her. But she is responsible for that design, anyways. I don't think you can hold her accountable for how annoying he is, but um, she did also design Sebulba, who's the pod racing guy that young Anakin races, and he's pretty cool, interesting design, I think. She did. I don't know. She just does a lot of creatures and animals, and they're really cool. I think she teaches a course on schoolism as well on creature design. So, if that's what you're into or looking for, check that out because I'd say she's probably one of the best in the world. I should probably talk a little louder too. I keep mumbling. Um, Terrell Whitlatch, Bobby Chiu, who I mention a lot. His stuff is really just really whimsical. It's got a lot of like emotion attached and like comedy, and he just does a really good job of evoking things in his viewers that make his stuff really popular and really viral. Um, Neville Page has some pretty cool stuff. I believe Neville Page worked on Avatar, the Avatar movie. Not Avatar, The Last Airbender, but just James Cameron's Avatar. Um, um, there's a guy on Instagram who's like, he's not that big of a channel. Like, I think he's like less than 10,000 followers, but and I'll have to find, I can't remember his name, but he's got, man, his creature designs are off the wall. They're super cool.
You don't remember his name?
No, but those are pretty cool. That whatever that kid's name is, I don't know. um, and Adrian Smith, his creatures aren't like the most anatomically accurate or realistic, but they're just super unique and like creative. Like his characters and his creatures. I don't know. I like Adrian Smith stuff, but it's a little dark for some people, probably. He's the guy who did the Onis and all the art for Rising Sun. He also did a game called um, The Other Seven Sins about like kind of like the apocalypse and the embodiment of like the seven deadly sins. And man, those are some crazy creature designs, but they're pretty. Just a little disclaimer: they're pretty creepy, gross, dark. I don't know. Just warning you, if you look them up, don't be like, "Whoa, Austin, why did you tell me to look at this?" All right, I think we got our proportions about where we want them. I kind of feel weird about his face a little bit, but I think part of it is because there's no stripes on it yet. I hope. But we'll see if we get some stripes on there. If it starts to pan out. So I also think maybe can move this up.
Comical Food is saying that Bryn Metheny is great too. Are
Oh
you
yeah.
familiar
Yeah,
with that one?
actually I met Bryn and we kind of, I don't know. I don't want to be like we're friends, and then she's like, "You're not my friend," but I don't know. I'm her friend. We met and exchanged tomorrow. I gave her some prints and stuff, and we talked about Wizards of the Coast and stuff like that because she's done some work for D&D, and she gave me some feedback on if I ever wanted to work for them, some things I could do and stuff, and that if she had the opportunity, she would put in a good word. But yeah, she's real nice. We kind of kept in contact after that a little bit. Um, yeah, she's got real cool creature designs. Um, yeah, her one of her my favorites that she's done is called the Tooth Fairy. It's like her take on the Tooth Fairy, and it's like this creepy little furry creature looking thing that flies around that's got like these big old huge long like rat looking teeth type stuff. Yeah, oh, it is so creepy. It's super cool though. It's just like, oh, that's what's bringing me money. Never mind. Keep it. I'll keep my tooth. I don't need it that bad. But yeah, she's cool. I feel like I don't have the eyes quite right, but I can't tell what needs to happen with them. Just looking. All right, we better get in on these stripes, or we're gonna run out of time here. Yeah, the stripes on a tiger are so iconic, like the patterns that they have. And it's not just like random stripes, like there's a distinct sort of pattern that they follow. And learning kind of just like the general basics or like some of the common because they're all different, right? Like it's like a tiger stripes are kind of like a human's thumbprint that they're each unique, but if you can learn kind of like how they typically look and some of the common like ways they form, it makes it really cool when you can incorporate that into other creature designs and it doesn't just look like stripes but specifically is kind of reminiscent of tiger stripes. It can be pretty cool, I think.
Samantha Pixley is asking, do you ever do traditional art?
Anymore, not really, but
But you started off that way, right?
yeah. I mean, it's not that I'm against it or anything. It's just so much more convenient and faster and easier and more able to share and edit and reproduce and everything working digitally these days. Um, yeah, I started out traditional. I've done traditional way longer than I've done digital. I mostly started out with inks and watercolors. Um, Yeah, I did a lot of watercolor stuff and, like, mixed media, a little bit of acrylic, but not really like, full-on acrylic painting, more like acrylic washes over ink and stuff like that, like watering the acrylic down and then basically using it as watercolor.
Yeah, it behaves very similar to watercolor if you
Yeah,
dilute it with water.
yeah. So, yeah, not really. It's also just, like, as far as, like, if you're gonna be a concept artist or stuff like that goes, it's a lot harder to make edits from the art director to a digital piece
I mean, to a
or to a traditional piece, yeah, than a digital piece. It just is a lot easier to work digitally when you're doing stuff like that, I think.
Do you play video games?
Yeah, sometimes. I got a PlayStation 4. I don't really I don't know, I kinda realize I don't know if this is universally true, but for me, I found it was true that, um, I used to play video games a lot more, but now that I am a lot more financially stable and make a good income and I'm not stressed about money or other things, I don't have a 9 to 5 job, they kind of lost their appeal as much as they used to have. Like, I used to be able to sink hours into a video game, and now I just pretty quickly I'm like, alright, well, I'm done. And I think it's just because I mean, and not from a place of arrogance, but just from a place of, like, gratitude and appreciation. My life is just so good. It's like, I'd way rather spend time working, working on things that I enjoy, like hobbies or skills, or spending time with my wife or my son or my, friends, family, whatever. Um, I don't know, it just has a lot more appeal. But every now and then I'll find a game that I'm like, "Oh, this is really fun," and I'll play for, like, a couple days. Um, and then the other exception would be if I do play video games or spend any time, it's almost always playing with someone else, like with, friends or my brothers playing like online, like playing together, like setting up a time and getting together and playing like Battlefront or something like that. That's for the most part these days. But I don't know though. With the announcement of the next Elder Scrolls, we'll see. It, I really liked Skyrim when I was in high school. I played that all the time. But I don't know. Like for a while, I'd get really excited for a new game that looked really cool coming out, and I'd buy it and play it for like 2 hours and just be like, eh. So I just stopped buying them because I just wasn't that. I don't know. Cause I like love cowboys. I saw Red Dead Redemption 2, and I was like, dang, that's probably so cool. But I just feel like I would get a couple hours into it and just be like, not interesting enough for me to spend all this time. I don't know. When you're like stressed all the time about money or different things, it feels like a really good escape because you just don't have to think about that stuff, and it just like you can release a lot of like stress and stuff. But I don't really feel like that very often anymore, and so I don't know, it's not as satisfying. It's not as enjoyable, I guess. Sometimes I'll pick up a game or at least just rent it just to look at the design because it's so cool. Like Horizon Zero Dawn. Dang, that game got some cool concept art.
How did you start your business? Comical Foods is asking.
Like, I'm not sure what you mean exactly. Like, how did I start doing Udemy and YouTube? Or um like Austin Batch Concepts? I I just did. I don't know. I just one day decided that I didn't want to do freelance work forever, and that I wanted to do my own thing. And so I just sat down. I got the equipment. I convinced my wife. We were super poor at the time. Like, um, we weren't making enough every month to pay the bills, and we were using like welfare from religious groups and stuff to at the time to pay bills and rent and stuff like that. But I I was just tired of it, so I convinced my wife to let me buy like a microphone and stuff, and she was super. She was like, "I don't know, we can't afford that," and I was like, "Dude," I didn't say dude. I was like, "Trust me, like I promise that if you let me buy these things, I'm going to make the money back. I'm gonna make the money back and then some. You just gotta trust me." And she was like, "All right, go for it. I trust you." So that's what I did. And I made the money back and then some by a lot. And I could buy a lot of microphones now. Um, and yeah, that's kind of how I got started. I made my first course, got it up there, didn't make hardly any money. It's kind of discouraging. And then I made my second course and just kept making them, going from there. And pretty soon I was making enough money to live off of, did my YouTube channel. And yeah, that's pretty much how I make an income, is through YouTube and Udemy. Mostly Udemy, but I do want to expand YouTube so that it's not all piled in just one business model. In case something were to ever happen to Udemy, I want to be able to not crash and burn.
Comical Foods is saying, great story. What's your next big goal?
Next big goal is YouTube. My goal is to be making, well, I don't know if I want to say my, financial goal, because I don't know if I want to give that sort of idea out there of how much exactly I make at this point. But my goal for YouTube, at least, is to have 100,000 subscribers by March. We'll see, but that's the goal. Certainly by the end of the year, but I'm aiming for March. And then I want to start doing brand deals and merchandise and stuff like that. I got some cool ideas for shirts. In fact, I'm wearing one of them right now. I've printed them. I wear them. I just haven't put them online.
Oh, cool.
It says "Too cool for school," cause F school. But yeah, that's my next big goal. YouTube. And then probably after that, I don't know, we'll see where I'm at or how YouTube goes or if it bombs or what, I don't know. Um, but after that, probably start doubling down and working on a board game or one of the projects I want to work on. We'll see. My brother and I have been thinking about maybe getting like a space, like a studio space, like a warehouse of some sort to work in and work on just like projects and things like that. So we'll see.
Samantha Pixley is asking, why did you choose concept art rather than some other form of art?
Because it's cool. I don't know. Because like I like drawing creatures, and if you want to draw creatures, do concept art because there's a lot of opportunities for it. I mean, I don't really do a whole lot of concept art now, except for myself, because I'm not doing any sort of freelance work or studio work. I just draw what I feel like drawing and do stuff for my channel. But I don't know, concept art just gave me the most opportunity to draw the type of things I liked drawing. And I just have always really liked movies and the idea of helping make a movie and seeing stuff I created or a game or anything, animated series, whatever. The idea of seeing my stuff be up there on the screen just seemed really exciting and really cool. So that's why. And because I think it's slowly starting to change, but for a long time I really enjoyed the visualization of the idea more than like the composition of like an image or like a story, like like a painting that is like really visually striking and sends like a really interesting message or makes you feel something. I was more interested in like coming up with a cool idea for a creature and being able to draw that so people could be like, oh, that's really interesting, that's really cool, that looks sweet, versus creating like an illustration per se that you might see in like a book or something, you know? So yeah, I don't know. Hope that answers your question. Sometimes I don't know, it seems like sometimes you guys are wanting me to say something profound, and I just feel like I'm like, I don't know, as I felt like it.
I think that in and of itself is profound, though, because you do what you like, you do what you love, and if you want to create a business, you do it, and if you want to start something or create something or make something, you just do it. And I think that's actually a really profound lesson that you teach people is if you want it, then go do it or go get it or go find it, go make it.
Yeah, what Caleb said. I take that back. I am profound.
Samantha Pixley wants the t-shirt. She says, I want that t-shirt, please.
All right, I'm working on it. Keep bugging me. That'll make me do it a lot faster.
You're planning on making those available, right?
Yep. Eventually. I got the ones that I have designed so far is one that says too cool for school. I got one that says starving artist my ass, and the S's on ass are like dollar signs. Um, got one that says create value. Got a couple of them. But yeah, I already have them. I wear them all the time. I just gotta put them up there. I think I should finish doing the stripes before I do the rest. Okay, what time are we at?
Oh yeah, we're
I'm not gonna
almost
finish.
out of time.
I might do this one again on reference day because I wanna be able to draw tigers and felines pretty quickly out of my head and have a really good understanding. So I might next time we do reference, I might just do this. What would that be? Sunday? Wait, is today Thursday or Friday? It's Thursday?
Today is Thursday.
So Saturday, I might do tigers again and finish this one and then do another one. Because I don't have time to go longer today. I got other stuff. Got some meetings. Oh, that reminds me before I forget. So I'm going to be doing a collaboration with Steph Draws. If you guys have not looked at his YouTube channel and you're into Procreate, definitely check it out. He does a lot of, well, just iPad art in general. He does a lot of comparisons between softwares. He does some unboxing stuff. He does some tutorials and tool features. But yeah, Stefan, he's from the Netherlands. We're going to be doing a collaboration next week. And what we're going to be doing is drawing an animal, some sort of a creature, and we're going to take turns, sort of like the drawing game where you take turns adding on to the image and then you kind of pass it back and forth and continue to add more and more to the image. Anyways, he's the options are, I put it on my Instagram. If you want to go check out my story, you can vote. Last I checked, it was pretty close between, the options are hawk and kangaroo. But yeah, the hawk is winning by like just barely, by like a few percentage points. So you can go vote on that. And then whichever one is the one that I'll be incorporating to my end of the drawing as we take turns kind of creating this creature, this animal sort of hybrid thing. So yeah, vote. You can let me know in the comments. It probably won't hold the same weight as if you just go vote, but it'll give me an idea of what you guys think would be cool. But yeah, that'll be pretty exciting. And then I have a call today with another YouTuber that I'm going to be doing a collaboration with, that we're going to work out what we're going to do and when and stuff. So once that's sort of more set in stone, I will let you guys know and you can look forward to that. But yeah, so that's exciting. I'm going to be trying to do a lot more of these collaborations for a little bit here to help build out my channel and bring some new audience members in, new subscribers, and kind of just, I don't know, sometimes I watch YouTube and it seems like other communities on YouTube besides the art community are a lot more connected. Like, you know, the YouTubers and the people on there and the subscribers and everything like are a lot more friendly and familiar with each other and connected. I think that would be really cool for the art community on YouTube to be like that. So I'm going to do my part to try and make that happen and just, I don't know, try and connect more creators and subscribers with more content that they would enjoy. So,
Do you have a minute for another question?
of course,
Awesome.
I'll probably finish these stripes and then call it good.
Okay. Pizza Box Demon is asking, he's saying, "Hey Austin, a bit of a weirdly specific question. Any tips on creating soft edges when rendering in Procreate? Whenever I try with even hard brushes, it seems to come out really dirty or smudgy looking."
So for rendering, you're wanting to know how to render soft edges in Procreate. So I would use, my favorite brush for this is the round brush. It's like the normal round brush, but I edited mine so that there's more jitter. I changed the jitter so that the stamp is a little bit broken up, so it's not so smooth. But I think this is a great brush, and you can be pretty smooth with it. I think a lot of it is just controlling your stroke. And then the other brush that I like, if you're really looking, I mean, it depends if you're going for a more painterly look. There's a couple. That one, sometimes if I'm doing like real painterly, I'll use the oil paint brush, and then just blend a lot and keep getting more and more tones to blend and blend and blend, and color picking between the two colors I'm blending. Or the last one is just a straight up airbrush. But it's got to be a mix of hard and soft. So if you're doing like an airbrush, you don't want there to be shadows. That looks horrible. You need to have some hard edges. So then I'll grab my eraser tool and give a hard edge to whatever it is I'm working on, and kind of just vary that. If you check out my digital painting mega course or my course on light and color, it has some lectures that go specifically over edge control and values and stuff like that. So yeah, check that out. That should help you some. What the heck? Oh yeah, because I gotta go back to my brush. But yeah, anyways, see if that helps. All right, I might have to. I want to finish these stripes though, because I'm focusing on stuff. I know that if I stop, I'll lose some things that I was noticing and picking up on by studying this. But I'll start talking about some of the things. Oh, it's gonna be hard to talk about what I was taking away from this and do it at the same time. I'll just try and finish it real quick. But yeah, you guys, if you got any more questions in the meantime while I finish this up, go for it.
How can you give the illusion of feather fluff when using a technical pencil? What kind of technique? Sophia's asking.
One thing you can do is have some sort of like lost and found edges where you're not like like kind of like how I did on his chin here. It's not like one straight connected line. It's like a bunch of light lines that aren't fully connected. Um, that's one good way. You don't have to draw every single feather. You want to suggest the sort of like the essence of it, I guess. And so just try focusing on the two things you want to focus on are the direction that they're going. You want to get the direction, and the lighter the feathers are, the less marks you'll make to suggest the fluffiness or their, where they're at. Like if they're white, for example, you would probably just be doing a little bit on the edge of them instead of the whole drawing each feather or like the whole outline or stuff like that. And then in addition to that, if you do end up doing anything, you'll probably be drawing in the shadows of where the feathers are on the body more than any of the like outline of the individual pieces or anything like that. All right. We're gonna call that for today, but there's still actually more that I want to do next time that we'll work on. I might turn this grayscale and do a little bit of toned paper sort of work with just like use my pencil with a white brush and do like a few highlights. Just to accentuate some of the white parts on the tiger's face, but I think his head is a wee bit too big. maybe like a little bit in between that. Yep. Just enough. Anyways, yeah, we'll call that good. All right, so here is the things I learned. Sorry, now I'm like noticing more little details. I'm like, ooh, I gotta add that. All right, things that I learned, things that I notice I can add to my visual library. So one simple one was the cardboard. The way the cardboard worked, that it was a lot more organic than I would picture if I was drawing a cardboard box. That like how crumpled it was and stuff like that. Another would be the. I mean, this is something I already knew, but that a really great way to show the perspective or the form of something is by able to use patterns almost as contours to show where things go, like the stripes on his head, for example. The way they kind of bunch up towards the back lets us know that the top of his head is flat and starting to turn away from us, or like his back, how he got this angle right here, and the stripes that let us know he's got the form changes in that he's got some bone structure underneath there. What else? Also that the shorter the fur is, the more crisp and sharp and clearly delineated the stripes will be, or the patterns on anything, whether it's, you know, whatever it is you're doing. If you're doing fur, the shorter the fur, typically the crisper the pattern or markings will be, and the longer the fur, the looser and more broken up they'll be. Like on his face, for example, the farther it gets out to the edges of his face where you got this really long sort of fluffy fur, it kind of gets a lot more broken up into these loose sort of patterns. Or like on his tail where starts to get a little fluffy, things like that. It's not as crisp, while other parts like on his back, certain parts of his face where the fur is really short, it's really sharp, clearly defined markings. So yeah, I'd say that pretty much sums it up. I don't know, I might not do this one next time. I might just do it in my spare time and just do a little bit more with it, but and call it good for this. But anyways, yep, that's where we're at. So be sure to post your work in the Facebook group or on Instagram with hashtag sketchgrind. Be sure to also go vote on my Instagram for whether you want me to do the hawk or the kangaroo with the Steph Draws collaboration. And if you have any suggestions for YouTubers that you'd like to see me kind of try and reach out to or do a video with, let me know and I will do my best to get in contact with them and see if we can set something up. But anyways, that is it for today's sketch grind. We'll see you all tomorrow, 10 o'clock sharp, to work on our drawing skills. And tomorrow's prompt, by the way, is if a land animal was adapted to live underwater. So kind of the opposite. I like doing them in pairs because they make for good sort of pieces of art that you can kind of show off together. So, all right, that is it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.